Hi everyone, we're going to have the continuation of our discussion, which is the first conic section, circles. So if you still remember, this is the picture that I showed you during the introduction of conic sections. This is Aldar headquarters that can be found in Abu Dhabi. Yes. So this is the example that I showed for the conic section circles. And that will be our topic for this part of the video. So before we head on the circles lesson, let us have the first activity. Okay. So there will be a set of questions, though, of course, since I will not be able to have the answer from you, you may just give me or you may just write your answer in your formative assessment compilation. So for our given example, so we have circle A in this given figure. Okay, circle A, since the center, okay, the center point is denoted as A, and we know that circles are actually named after their center point. Now, let's say that these are the measures of the following line segments. So segment AB is 7 centimeters. Then segment AC is also 7 centimeters, and segment AB is also 7 centimeters. So let us answer the following questions. We're supposed to have the recitation, but since we don't have time for that, I would just want you to answer using your formative compilation. If we draw segment AE, what do you think would be its measurement? So I have here point E and then point A. So if we're going to draw a segment here, what would be its measurement? Yes, you are correct. It is also 7 centimeters. Next, if we choose another point on the circle and measure its distance from the center, what do you think will its measure be? So if I am going to draw another point here, let's say I will name it as F, and I will get the distance from A to F. What will be the distance between the 2 points? Yes, again, you are correct. This is 7 centimeters. So coming or getting all those answers, what part of the circle are these segments drawn from the center of the circle? So all the segments, okay, 7 centimeters, 7 centimeters, 7 centimeters, and even the segments that we have drawn, okay, are all 7 centimeters. And since they all have the same measurement, these are actually called, yes, you are correct. These are the radii. Radii plural, radius singular. Okay. So to give us the definition of circles, it is a locus or set of all points xy that is equidistant from a fixed point hk called the center. So we have this center, take note of this, center wherein we denote it as hk. Now, the distance r between the center and the point xy on the circle is called the radius. So these are the basic parts of a circle, and I think you already know this since this is not a new topic for you. Let us go on. Let's have the analytical approach of circles. This is the formula that is used for us to get the standard form of equation of a circle. So in dealing with this, you have to take note of the following, that h and k here are actually the coordinates of the center of the circle, and r is the radius of the circle. Okay? We retain y and x to be, yes, that is correct, We call them variables. Yes, that is correct. Now, let us have the first part, identifying the standard form of equation given the center hk and radius r. Now, this video has three parts. So the first one is this one, identifying the standard form of the equation given the center and the radius. The next one will be identifying the standard form given the graph. And the last part will be graphing. Okay, you'll be the one to graph the circle. Okay, moving on. You will observe first the example that I will show you, and then afterwards you can actually pause this video for you to try on the example. Actually, even the first one, you can try it on your own. But of course, do not just wait for the answer to come out. You have to try it because math is skills. So you cannot just learn by watching this video alone. So for the first example, center at the origin, radius of 3. So since the center is at the origin, taking note of that, when we say origin, our center or the coordinates of the origin is actually 0, 0. Okay? And we are aware of that. When we say origin, the coordinates are 0, 0. Now, substituting it, h will now become 0 and k is equal to 0. Remember, this is h, this is k. Next, radius is given already. Radius is 3. So we already have the essential parts of it, h, k, and the radius r. We can now identify our equation, okay, by substituting it in the standard form. Now, this is the standard form of the equation. We know that h here is the x-coordinate of our given center, so this will become 0. And k will also become 0. Now with that, writing down all the necessary parts, you have the following. R is actually 3 squared. So you're going to have x minus 0 squared plus y minus 0 squared equals 3 squared. Simplifying it, x minus 0 will actually just become x squared plus y minus 0 is again will be y squared equals 3 squared equals 9. This will now be your standard form of the equation of a circle. So continuing it, since we know that x squared plus y squared equals 9 is our equation or the standard form of equation, going to its graph, the origin is the center of the circle itself. Now, how are you going to graph the circle if the radius is 3? Just from the center, you just have to count 3 units from it. So 1, 2, 3. So since you have 3 units, you just have to mark all this 3 units around the circle. You may actually use compass if you have, or you may also use a string, okay, to make the circle. So that gives us the graph of the circle. So for the next one, I want you to solve with me. But before I will give the answer, I want you to try it on your own first. You please pause this video for you to try it. So we have the given center at -1, 4, radius is 5. So we just have to identify h, k, and r. Pause this video before you identify the answer. Okay, so for that one, we know that h is -1 and k is +4. Now for the radius, we have r equals 5. Now to continue that, let us now identify the equation of the circle. Following the formula x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared, we just have to substitute h to be -1, k to be +4, and r to be 5. So simplifying, x minus -1 squared plus y minus 4 squared equals 5 squared. Now take note of this. You have x minus negative. X minus negative, so minus negative would actually give us positive sign. Okay, rules of signs. Then y minus 4 equals 2. Then 5 squared equals 25. Okay, so for the final answer, we have x plus 1 squared plus y minus 4 squared equals 25. Now, I want you to try this on your own. This time, I would like you to place your answer in the compilation of formative assessment. Okay, you're going to submit this as it will be indicated in the orange apps that I'll be posting after after this video. So try this, identify the standard form of equation of the circle given the following. So C at the origin, radius of 8, then C at -1, 0, radius of square root of 7. You're supposed to have 5 minutes to answer this, but if you can answer it faster than 5 minutes, then that would be better. So again, I'd like you to pause this and answer it for a while, and then we'll be back for the answer. Okay, time's up. Let us check your answers. C at origin, radius of 8. So your center is at the origin, therefore h and k will be both 0. And then radius is 8. Now we substitute it with the formula that will be x squared plus y squared equals 64. I will no longer be stating this or explaining this in detail, okay? Since we know this is exactly the same example. This is somehow the same example as the first one. Okay. Number 2. Center is at -1, 0, radius of square root of 7. Okay. So center, h is -1, k is 0. Radius is square root of 7. So the equation of the circle will now be x plus 1 squared plus y squared equals 7. Now you have to notice the following. If you are given a negative coordinate, when you place it in the equation, it becomes positive. While this one, since you have a radius, which is a radical number, when you place it in the equation, you just have to remove the radical number. This is actually part of your math talino, okay, wherein you have to ponder upon the following questions. How must negative coordinates be dealt with when substituting to the formula? And how will you solve radii with radicals? So I want you to, though I have explained it, I want you to answer it, okay, on your formative assessment.